So I'm Gary Brightman. I'm from London in the UK. I've been here in Hong Kong for 16 years. I've lived on Lantau Island. So I live here with my wife and my 3 dogs and my 2 cats, and we live in Mui Wo and we live on Lantau Island. I lived here and worked here for the first 4 years, and then I finished working in IT and banks. I'd been doing it all my life for 35 years. The shop is called Vibe, book and music shop. There's been a bookshop here in this location for 16 years when I arrived. Previously the shop was selling this type of book, actually, antiquarian books these are called, which are, you know, sort of around 100 years old, 80 years old. The community here in Mui Wo is predominantly Hong Kongers. And so for me, I thought, well, no point just to have English books, but to also appeal to other people. So then I started to stock Chinese books. At that time, it was purely a bookshop, and I love books, so and I could still do my job here, which was film editing and film making and sound editing. And so I took on the shop, and I've been here for 7 years. So the front part of the shop we made over to music and media and also entertainment. We're largely second-hand books, but we support local authors, and so we sell books which are new books by authors, and they would generally come here and do a talk, and then we'll sell their books here. When I started here at Vibe and started the shop 7 years ago, the purpose was really to have it as like an office and a community serving place. I didn't necessarily need the shop to make money for me, but at the same time I didn't want it to lose money for me either. So in an ideal world, it would have basically run what they call break even, or run flat. However, once I'd started to run the business, I really felt that we had something which was providing the community here in Mui Wo. And for that reason, I kept things running, but I pay my own money in here. And the way I look at it now is it's an expensive hobby, exactly, you know, for me at the moment. So it cost me money to run it. However, I'm happy to serve the community. You know, I'm now 64, 65 years old this year, and so therefore I'm towards my retirement years, and I feel that maybe it's time to give something back to society, and so this is me giving back something to society. Okay, so, you know, I basically, you know, I was born in 1960, and so I was a teenager in the 1970s, and you know, around the time of the, you know, so for me the golden era for music was in the 1970s, and the 1970s started off with, you know, disco music and rock music and progressive rock music, and I was always a big music fan, and I would love live music, and I would go and see live bands as much as I could. Then around sort of mid to late 70s, then punk music started to happen. There was a big recession in the UK at that time, and the music really reflected people's feeling about, you know, life not being so good in the UK, and so punk music became the sort of anthems of the people and what people started to enjoy. And I went to see many punk bands in that time, and I loved, my personal favourite bands would be, you know, the Stranglers, the Clash. I saw these punk bands. With all that music, I found that really, it spoke to me as a teenager. I'm still a fan of that type of music. I have 2 things. One is Live at Vibe HK is on our YouTube website. A few years ago, we had Mirror, who are a canto pop band, wanted to come and film here. They came to the shop. I met Ginger and Tiger, and so I didn't know Mirror at that time, but very quickly we became well known overnight. We got more popular after that. We now in Hong Kong have more people from the mainland coming to visit us. Where are you all from? I think they think we're like a museum in a way. They probably don't know what to expect in Hong Kong. You know, we are unusual perhaps from, you might not get this type of store in mainland China. And so the people that come here, largely female, will take lots of photos, and those photos they'll put out on Xiaohongshu. I understand that during that time, you know, we've now got quite a big following in mainland China. You know, I'd already lived here in Mui Wo for around 10 years, and so I knew some of the people here. And basically people would come to the shop and, you know, for books, and I would start to get to know people more. After a short period of time, you know, my friends came here, started to come to the shop regularly on a Saturday afternoon. You know, a lot of the community will come here and you know, buy music and books and things for their families. It was a dream come true for me, really. You know, I moved to this island, to Lantau, and immediately felt at home here.